Thank you, Alice. So I propose us then to move on to our next speaker. Maybe we'll have any other additional questions and we will be really happy to discuss it all together. And I'm also speaking there on behalf of the Global AI Center, the president I am thereof. And today, during my today's speech, we're also gonna take a deep dive to one of our novel academic research pertaining to the intersection between the lunar frontier and the artificial intelligence and the intellectual property law. Our research that we published recently is being called as Ex Machina at the Lunar Frontier, and we're going to talk today a little bit about regulating AI creations beyond the planet. We're going to ask ourselves today some particular questions which, unfortunately, some people may not dare to question themselves, or sometimes people may tend to avoid. We're gonna talk not about what can AI do today for us, but we're gonna talk about what do we owe to AI and what do we owe ourselves in the era and age of algorithmic autonomy of Earth. And when it comes to the regulation of artificial intelligence beyond the planet, we have to get to know one particular fact and to emphasize it is the fact that AI has always served as a tool, what we also call as instrumentum operandi, a system of support and a mirror of human command. But artificial intelligence has already made a rapid shift and transition, and from instrumentum operandi, currently it has the potential to become a quasi-agent, which is already capable of at least 3 options, which involves creative inference, also cognitive extrapolation, and operational independence. And this shift in paradigm is kind of concerning due to the fact that if it's going to be overlooked, then it would mean that probably we would end up with such kind of a vast legal lacuna that is going to be more and more challenging to breach in the long term. And what we exactly do in our Global AI Center, and we're really happy to be invited today by the Business School of AI, is crafting the legislation that we propose to governmental bodies. And this kind of legislation can already be fully harmonized with different legislative systems all over the world. And when it comes to our lunar frontier, today we're gonna ask the question, who's gonna be the agent exactly, who indeed is the author when an AI autonomously discovers, designs or devises something in the cold silence of space. And unfortunately, currently we have a particular vacuum of the jurisdiction. And that's why, as we're going to answer this question, we have to be very clear. The fact is that the moon is not the Silicon Valley, and the cosmos is not covered by the fine print of terrestrial copyright. So here everything becomes even more and more complex. The borders thereof also, by the way, are becoming more and more vague as a good chunk of novel AI tools and other actors come into play. So it's a very, very multifaceted kind of an research and realm that we're approaching. And we also approach intellectual property law. It has been long considered as the ideal of human ingenuity, but unfortunately right now it has a potential kind of a state of free fall because it is untethered from gravity and is grappling with code that writes itself already. And even if we take into consideration the fact that artificial intelligence has the potential to gain sentience, then everything is becoming even more and more complex. That is why at first we would like to highlight 2 types of laws that exactly operate when it comes to international space law, and we're gonna a little bit juxtapose to get a better understanding 2 types of laws when it comes to the law that is fully tethered to our terra, so to the, let's say, to the ground, and exactly lex specialis, so particular kind of specific laws that have to be introduced as we're reacting to changes, and we also have to be proactive simultaneously. International space law in itself is grounded in the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, and it defines outer space as res communis omnium, a global commons. We're entering an age of lex digitalis spatialis, a legal vacuum that risks exactly becoming a corporate playground unless we take action. That is why we're gonna have 2 routes forward as we predict The first route may be to deny all the AI authorship and risk suppressing innovation, and the second one is about embracing the role of artificial intelligence and elaborate a sui generis framework, balancing exactly the justice with bona fide human input. And when it comes to these routes, as of today, unfortunately, there is no comprehensive global doctrine that's gonna answer the following questions as who owns lunar extracted AI data, what treaty protects AI-generated inventions in orbit, and can a machine claim copyright when it has no particular passport? And the spacecrafts are launching, although we still have this legal vacuum and lacuna, and the algorithms are still running. And the issues that when it comes to the questions, they are no longer waiting for us. We have already a multitude of questions that have to be addressed. And today, that is the reason why when it comes to the intellectual property law, it is in most cases grounded in three core doctrines. It's the idea of originality of human creativity, the doctrine of fixation, what is being called as that the idea must be particularly fixed, and the idea expression dichotomy, the protection of expression, which is not abstract ideas that are exactly accepted. And AI challenges all of these core doctrines of intellectual property law will already have disruptions. AI is not a human being, yet it creates original works. It does so without intention, yet it produces results that are fixed and expressed. And that's why we have the following logical questions. Is the law flexible enough to include quasi-authors, or must we redefine what authorship means per se? And the legal gaps that we see currently when it comes to the intersection of our interplanetary scale and the intellectual property law is that IP rights are nationally granted, space has no nation. US Copyright Office in the year of 2025 recently released the fact that all the creations that have the potential to be copyright need to comprise a human spark. And then we ask questions whether this human spark can be somehow present in artificial intelligence inputs and corporate ownership. So that's also one of the issues. Firms might claim that AI is a tool and they claim ownership on this AI, but this invites regulatory gaps and ethical issues. And when it comes to the world examples of exactly what kind of empirical evidence we may find in terms of artificial intelligence and space law in order to feel it more palpably, in order to see it more tangibly, I propose to take a look at one vivid example of NASA's Perseverance rover. In 2023, the rover used AI-based navigation systems to autonomously select rock samples for future retrieval. The system made decisions independent of ground control. Not only did it break the record in terms of driving, independently navigating terrain, avoiding hazards, and updating its route in real time, it has also been primarily already autonomously executed by its AutoNav system, and the figure is kind of prominent, so it's 88.7%. So it's already more and more automated, more and more independent. And this can be one of the multifarious seeds of future authorship debates, because a lot of data is already produced, a lot of data is already navigated, and it raises questions. If machine selects the subject, designs the method, initiates the study, what portion of the resulting data, discovery, or image qualifies as human authored? What is the rightful owner of Marshall samples that were mapped here and collected by an autonomous system without direct human oversight? And what if this data later underpin patents for medicine or mining? Because it also has such a potential. And the urgency to address the specter of these issues is the fact that these days dark AI is also raising its head. When it comes to the constitution that I authored in the year of 2023 and duly registered it within US Copyright Office,
recording in progress,
I have mentioned and highlighted the fact that dark AI is an autonomous system that operates maliciously beyond regulatory oversight. Because if we do not put particular ethical boundaries for artificial intelligence, unfortunately, the idea may backfire. And when it comes to the unscrupulous individuals that might avail themselves of the opportunity to take advantage of some breaches in terms of the system, dark AI is no longer a science fiction type of a plot. That is why our Global AI Center proposes particular tangible solutions for the cybersecurity protocols to mitigate dark AI threats, securing not just digital but physical environments, particularly in space operations where vulnerabilities are exponentially higher. And we would like to take a closer look at particular tangible proposals that we put forward, and the ones that, when integrated, may exactly almost fully mitigate the risks and the issues that unfortunately are rising these days. First of all, it's the Lex Data Specialis, exactly a particular kind of a law that's gonna work in space and the one that's gonna be comprehensive. We also propose to establish a specialized repository system for AI-generated data beyond Earth. And in this way, national space agencies and private entities would be required to register and deposit significant AI outputs into a neutral space data bank in order to divulge the information about what is going on in space, in what way we explore space, in order it to be understood and seen by people from all over the globe, because we have the right to understand what kind of innovations are awaiting us. In this way, we also propose to secure this data in the blockchain-enabled space IP ledger. In this way, when we enable blockchain-enabled space IP ledger within the space data repository or space data bank, this way we're going to strengthen data provenance and transparency. When it comes to the third option that we propose, it's the Certificate d'Origine. International UN-backed body could create data observatories to verify human input in AI-generated works. You can think of the Certificate d'Origine as if it was a passport for creativity in zero gravity on outer space. In this way, verified cases receive a certificate d'origine that would officially document the location, the AI system, human contribution, serving as primarily legal proof for IP rights on Earth and beyond. We also propose the liability bonds, so exactly that are going to be enforced to prevent corporate opportunism, ensuring that misappropriation or harm by autonomous AI in space remains justiciable back on Earth. And in this way, we're going to see that the legislation is also going to flourish. And we also propose transnational tribunal, a lex specialis chamber under the Permanent Court of Arbitrators to adjudicate future space-based IP and data conflicts between the parties. In this way, we would like to finalize our speech today, and I would like to finalize our speech today on behalf of the Global AI Center with one ethical warning, is that what we are talking today, it's not about the mere law. It's exactly about something way bigger. It's exactly about our responsibility. It's exactly about the time that we don't want to wait for fait accompli headlines from Mars before we take action. We cannot afford this type of inertia, and that is not a theoretical debate. That's already a big necessity. That's the next frontier of legal consciousness. And that's not about science fiction anymore. So the intersection is kind of vivid. That's about the constitutional jurisprudence in the making. And that's also about the fact that if we do not take action right now, we possess a kind of bigger risk, a massive risk, living in a new world without a law. And that is why we encourage today to generate ideas, to get some insights, realize and react. We need tangible actions when it comes to regulating artificial intelligence on an interplanetary scale. Yeah, we have still a lot to do on Earth, and we still need to have legislation which is now in the making, but we shouldn't neglect this sphere because we may lose it. That is why our Global AI Center encourages you to get to our official website, take a look at research. We're really open to discussions, we're really open to cooperation, as we cooperate today with the Business School of AI. And if you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer. So please, you're welcome. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you so much, Polina. This was really insightful.
Thank you, Madam.
But also a bit shocking, I have to say. All the things we haven't realized yet about what is happening already in beyond Earth. Can you say something about, because I was wondering about what actions have been taken, or is this on the agenda, for example, at the United Nations? Could you say a little bit more about that?
Thank you, Manan. That's a great question. I would say it's still in the making. When it comes to the United Nations currently, our Global AI Center recently has been taken active part in terms of the consultations on the Global AI Panel and Dialogue. So we currently already, let's say, doing our best to convene a set and a panel of AI experts who are going to work on the, let's say, Lex Terra, or exactly our territorial legislation on planet Earth, but we still have some particular points of growth and points of improvement and refinement in terms of the interplanetary scale, because what we do have right now, and that's the law that entails particular obligations, is our Outer Space Treaty from the 1967, and we understand...
When we weren't aware.
Yeah, and when we understand that actually we have to take action, we have to be proactive, and that's what our Global AI Center actually reiterated during the United Nations session that took place in April the 2nd, 2025 this year. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is a bit, we're behind, that's my conclusion. I also saw a question on LinkedIn, because people are also following this talk on LinkedIn. Nagaratna, she asks, with countries talking about sovereignty of data, are there accepted guidelines on where exactly non-Earth data are stored? Also in terms of access, are they openly made available to all or controlled by the entity who gathers the data?
Thank you, Nagaratna. I would say, unfortunately, due to the fact that we do not have the particular data repository where we exactly would somehow oblige the countries and it's a very complex and multifaceted issue, and we have a lot of actors that come into play there. And unfortunately, we do not have still a particular place where where we would oblige people and all these actors to divulge this information. Lots of this information might be concealed in a legal kind of way behind the intellectual property laws. And when it comes to the novel frontiers, in order not to have any kind of procrastinations, let's say it this way, probably we have to take some more novel pioneering approaches. We have to be more open-minded, because these days when AI takes action, we, let's say, exponentially enhance or boost our velocity. And in order not to lose all this data, we need some particular cyber secure space, and the Global Data Bank has the full potential to become.
It's a hard one during those times we're living in now. Thank you for your great work. I think everyone is really amazed by what you presented here. Not a real question. I love how much knowledge and insights were shared. Like the importance of combining soft and technical skills. So I'm just processing it so much about also beyond Earth. Even thinking about that concept and sustainability So I'm just really grateful for you all to share, that you have shared so many insights here. Thank you.
Thank you, Manon, and thank you, Elise and Nagaratna and Rob. Today, I guess we had a really productive discussion. I really love the fact that today we emphasized more than just like a few times is the fact that the law shouldn't lag behind the code and we have to keep up with our pace. And we'll see that in our realms where we are sophisticated in, we see some particular lacuna, we see some breaches, and when we identify the issues and the problems that we have, we understand that they have a way better potential to be breached as soon as possible. Talking about our chat, thank you, Mala. I would like from our European panel also to extend the words of gratitude to our moderator today, Mala Munisami, because Mala has the late evening in Los Angeles and she's kindly helping us today moderating our event, and of course Sudha. Thank you a lot for your unwavering commitment and for the opportunity to speak today. Today, when it comes actually to the plans of our panels, I would like to highlight for all the attendees who are watching us currently is the fact that today, the IoTWoman day is only the start, so like that's only the morning. Just soon, in around 40 minutes, the African panel is going to be available, and we invite all the individuals to take action, to take a look, to share their insights. Also, the recordings would be available on the Sudha's channels, and here you can keep up with the news from the Business School of AI to catch up with all the insights if maybe today you have a hectic schedule and you don't have an opportunity to take action. And today we also have our main American panel that's gonna be at 9 a.m. when it comes to the American time PT, so you're also very welcome to join, to bring our insights. I will do my best also today to personally get to the American panel and to share the insights from our European panel. Thank you a lot for your kind words in chat. So we wrap up our meeting on this productive note, and we're really happy that we struck a synergy pertaining to multifarious areas that we have been elaborating on today. And thank you a lot for your kind comments, and I guess we will keep up with the chat, and if any questions arise, dear attendees, you're most welcome to take a look at our live session, the live stream, get our comments, take a look at our LinkedIn profiles, and probably here the people will have an opportunity to engage with us directly, contact us, and the Business School of AI itself. Yeah. Thank you very much for your inspiring words, and then we may wrap up our session.
Super, thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, man.
Or your night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Manon.